Hey there. How's everybody doing this morning? No, this afternoon. Just afternoon. Sorry, I'm a few minutes later than usual. But I'm here and you're here, and I'm glad to see that. Today is Saturday, September 13, 2025. And this is Wondrous Roots, your health from the ground up. And I am Rebecca Becky Montrone. I have a degree in holistic nutrition. I'm also an herbalist, so I make a lot of herbal medicinal products. I see clients for all kinds of health problems, from wellness um, to serious illness. I meet with people here in my office at 103 Roxbury Street on the third floor of the Miller Forge building. 9:30 to 5, Monday through Friday, here in person or this way. I have a lot of clients I will never meet in person, and very glad to be able to meet with them this way, long distance. So also do phone. Had a guy the other day said I'm not very technically savvy, so we did a phone consult. So that's always fine too. So yeah, so Wondrous Roots. 103 Roxbury Street, Keene, New Hampshire, 9:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. The phone here is 603-439-2603. You can reach out to me. I have two websites. One is very information focused, and that is wondrousroots.org. And then I have shopwondrousroots.com. So we also have a lot of nutritional supplements out here because I work with them a lot when I'm working with people. And our shop is open to the general public. Have all of the formulas that we make. We have a wonderful skincare line, all natural, no junk, very effective products. So again, check us out, shopwondrousroots.com if you're not familiar with the things we carry here. And you can reach out from either website in the contact us. Just type your message to me. It comes to me to my private email, and I'm the only one who works with those, sees those, answers those. So I think that's all my intro information. So anyway, thanks for being here. If you want to participate, you can raise your hand down at the bottom bar. At least that's where it is on my device, the Q&A you can type into. You can also raise your hand, and if I'm paying attention, Joe, especially because you like to do that, I will try to pay attention and I will call on you. And then we can talk with you and hear you, or talk with you and see you, depending on your choice. So I think that's it. Last week, I did a program on choline, and I talked a lot about eggs and how eggs are one of the most reliable, affordable, daily doable way to get a decent amount of choline, and why choline is so important to our health. So within that program, I talked about, again, plasmalogens, which have been my latest craze. Plasmalogens are they're a substance that we make. They're a phospholipid, if you will, that we make in our bodies. Declining plasmalogen levels are associated with declining health, just as declining glutathione levels are associated with declining health, just as declining melatonin levels are associated with declining health. But plasmalogens are new to my attention and very important. And one of the ways we help create plasmalogens in the body is to make sure that we get plenty of choline in the daily diet. And so that's kind of where I started off with all this egg stuff. And then one of the things that I recognized when I was doing that presentation is that liver is the richest source, ounce per ounce, of choline. And I had a client in for a follow-up on yesterday morning, and she was, we ended up talking about, she was worried about, she was talking about her cholesterol. She hadn't seen my recent program because I talked a lot about cholesterol last week in the egg presentation as well. And she wasn't up to speed on my latest on that. And she's in her 70s and knows that her doctor is going to want to put her on a statin. So we got talking about cholesterol, and I was kind of taking her through the slides of last week's presentation and explaining some things to her. And she said, I can have eggs every day. I used to eat 2 eggs every day, and now I've been restricting them to once a week. And so yeah, so it was again that kind of idea. So walking her through that and talking about the misunderstanding. And she said, well, if I don't want to go on a statin drug, my doctor's not going to be very happy. And then you always have to have the conversation about your doctor's not there for you to make happy. Your doctor's there to serve you. So always keep that in mind. But then we got talking about, oh, well, I was showing her the slide about eggs having 147, approximately 150 milligrams of choline per egg. And then how beef liver has like 350 milligrams per 3 ounces. So I said to her right then and there, I'm going to do a program on, that's what I'm going to do my program on tomorrow, is organ meats. So here we are, and that's how we got here. And I think it's really worth talking about because these organ meats have also been very much maligned in the whole cholesterol kind of thing. Like don't have too much liverwurst, don't have too much pâté, that kind of thing. And so again, we're coming right down to the same thing. So I'm going to put together a little slide presentation with some information for you that is kind of a really upbeat and fun program, I think. It's not as deeply scientific as a cellular membrane and how we transport things through the cellular membrane and plasmalogens and all of that, but very foundational to health. So I'm going to pull up my presentation and then I will share my screen. Educational presentations, organ meats, the organ grinder. And we're going to do the PDF so we can see it easily. And I think that will do it. Now I'll go in and share my screen. So you all should be able to see that. Now I get you over here so I can see you. Keep an eye on you. And then my chat box so I don't miss that. I should be able to definitely see if a hand goes up. Move that just slightly. Sorry, just arranging my desktop. Thankfully, I have this really nice big screen that Dale put on my desk. Can have a lot of different things open at the same time. Okay. And I think what I'm going to do really quick is I did check, just want to see, let me see, the various organ meats. I want to say, can you give me, this is my chat GBT, can you give me a breakdown down, please, of the choline content of the various organ meats, or offal, we're going to find out they're called. Offal is an offal. Various organ meats in a 3-ounce serving, we'll say. Because I didn't grab that information, and that is something I would like to know. Okay, 3-ounce serving. Okay, so I'll refer to this when the time comes. Yeah, definitely a great source. So, you don't want to necessarily be eating eggs all day long, like for every meal, what form of egg can I have here? You might want to have some organ meats or something like that, something that's going to give you, like, you don't have to eat a ton to get a lot of bioavailable choline. And again, remember that I did point out that the choline from animal sources is much more bioavailable than from um, uh, plant-based, from vegetables, or from supplements. Okay, so organ meats, an overlooked key to vitality. I will tell you, it's interesting because Dale and I were talking about this morning. Dale had mono as a teenager, mononucleosis, and was so wiped out his energy, and he just instinctively started cooking up. He would get get a package of frozen chicken livers at the grocery store and cook them up for himself every single day as he was recuperating. It wasn't because he was studying about liver and its importance to recuperating from an illness like that. And what's really interesting is the virus, virus that's behind Epstein-Barr, that's behind mononucleosis, wipes out your B vitamins. It uses up your B12. COVID does that too. And so he had no idea what he was doing was replenishing these much needed nutrients. He just knew that he craved them. So, and I will say this too, that the first solid food we gave Krista was homemade chicken liver pâté out of the Fanny Farmer cookbook. I made a big batch of chicken liver pâté and froze it in serving sizes for our daughter, and it was her first solid food. Yeah, it was not a rice cereal by Gerber. Contrast those two things nutritionally, right? So anyway, liver is a great thing, but there's other organ meats too. You can see them kind of like in a beautiful way arranged there to sort of make them appealing, visually appealing. So why organ meats? For centuries, organ meats were prized as the most nourishing part of the animal in cultures all over the world. Traditional peoples, from the Inuit of the Arctic to African tribes and indigenous groups in the Americas, often reserved liver, heart, and other organs for expectant mothers, children, and community leaders because of their concentrated nutrition. So you would favor the organ parts, you would save them for the vulnerable or for the ones who really needed the extra nutrition. These foods supplied critical vitamins, minerals, and unique compounds that supported fertility, growth, and resilience. The work of Dr. Weston A. Price, who I've talked about many, many times, and when people ask me how what my take is on a healthy diet, I am basically like Weston A. Price is the person who most typifies my view of what a healthy diet is, which is a traditional whole food diet. And again, Weston A. Price was a dentist who, in the early 1900s, traveled the world, and he made note of how when native cultures in different parts of the world began to adopt a Western processed food diet, more processed food diet, and abandoned their traditional diets, how their health within one generation plummeted. And he used just the facial bone structure was a major thing that he looked at, and how the teeth now were crowded, right? When people are well nourished, they don't need braces because their bones are properly formed during gestation. So, yeah. So anyway, that's the background with Dr. Weston A. Price. We're going to look at some of his materials in a little bit with regard to organ meats, offal, otherwise known as. And the early 20th century confirmed that what these cultures already knew, okay? Where organ meats and other sacred foods were consumed, people enjoyed vibrant health, strong teeth and bones, and robust immunity. In sharp contrast, the modern Western diet has largely abandoned organ meats, favoring muscle cuts, which is lean meat, and heavily processed foods instead. This shift has led to a significant loss of nutrients like vitamin A, vitamin B, because again, vitamin A, beta carotene from a carrot is not vitamin A. It's a vitamin A precursor, but it's not vitamin A. B12, folate, again, that whole folate metabolism, DNA methylation, pivotal point when it comes to health. Iron and choline, all abundant in liver and other organs, but far less concentrated in lean meats or plant foods. As Dr. Weston A. Price observed, traditional people's transition from their ancestral diets to refined, civilized fare, they quickly developed dental decay, weakened immunity, fertility issues, and chronic illnesses. What was once considered essential for vitality has become forgotten, leaving many today unknowingly deficient in the very nutrients that sustained generations before us. And I'm gonna concentrate on it a little bit further in, but the importance of eating the whole animal, as Weston A. Price would say, nose to tail. Talking about the brain, right? Nose to tail, because of the different parts of the body that provide different nutrients that work together in synergy. So super exciting that this is the way our creator set up food to be enjoyed and to be utilized for our health. And again, just exploring it and understanding it is really a thrilling thing. So organ meats are among the most concentrated sources of vitamins found in any food. Just a few ounces of beef liver, for example, provide over 1,000% of the daily recommended intake for preformed vitamin A nutrient essential for vision, immune defense, and reproductive health. They are the richest natural source of B12, often supplying an entire week's worth in a single serving. And they deliver abundant folate, riboflavin, B2, niacin, B3, vitamin B6 in highly bioavailable forms. Again, the B vitamins, our whole health centers around the B vitamins. They are very important, again, in DNA methylation. So the ability to raise glutathione, to raise then P53, which is a tumor suppressor gene, glutathione being the miracle molecule. So all of these nutrients, super, super important. And yeah, I mean, these native peoples eating these organ meats on a regular basis certainly didn't need to be shopping for their nutritional supplements. Heart is one of the best sources of CoQ10. So you're actually eating a heart from an animal, and you're actually getting a really good provision of CoQ10. Vital for energy production and cardiovascular health, as well as muscular health. Remember, the heart is a muscle. While kidney is packed with selenium, supporting thyroid and antioxidant defenses. Unlike supplements, these nutrients come packaged with their natural cofactors, making them easier for the body to recognize, absorb, and utilize. In short, organ meats function like nature's multivitamin, supplying a broad spectrum of critical nutrients in unparalleled density. So not just choline. Liver, the multivitamin of nature, the highest natural source of vitamin A, which is critical for vision, immunity, reproduction, rich in B12 and folate, again, supporting red blood cell formation, nervous system health, supplies choline, again, brain development, liver detox, methylation support, abundant in iron and copper, oxygen transport, and energy metabolism. So again, you have there the choline, again, a 3-ounce serving of beef liver is 350 milligrams of choline. Your daily a really good dose to say you've dosed well for the day in choline through your food is 450 milligrams for women. It's 550 milligrams for men in a day. And so if you had 2 eggs, there's 350 there's 300 milligrams if you had 2 eggs. And then if you had 3 ounces of beef liver sometime during the day, or liver equivalent or organ meat equivalent or something concentrated, you don't have to eat like a whole big meal with little bits of choline here and there, but something concentrated choline. Okay, so if you had that, you'd have 650 milligrams if you had 3 ounces of beef liver and 2 eggs in a day. Boom, done. I got my choline today. Heart, fuel for your own heart. Top food source of CoQ10 is animal heart. Essential for mitochondrial energy production. I get to say it. I am a mitochondriac, right? Mitochondrial energy begins to decline around age 30. It is considered the decline, it has been called the decline of life's energy. And CoQ10 is one of the two endogenous, meaning that we make them ourselves in our bodies, enzymes, the other one being NAD+, that keep fueling and recycling mitochondrial energy. So packed with the B vitamins, especially vitamin B12 and riboflavin. Riboflavin is vitamin B2. It is super essential to health. It is a huge mitochondrial energy booster. In fact, it is sold in 400 milligram capsules for the relief of migraine because it is such a powerful mitochondrial energy booster. And migraine is most times migraine is related to mitochondrial energy being low and that causing a inconsistency in the vasodilation, the dilation of the blood vessels in the body. And that can cause a migrainous syndrome, whether it be headache or a visual migraine or an abdominal migraine or whatever, any migrainous condition because of its effect on mitochondria. So here we have, again, right there in eating hearts. Iron and zinc, immunity, and tissue repair, traditionally eaten for strength and endurance, and one can certainly see why. Let's go look at my choline. Oh, that's what I'll do. Pork kidney. Pork heart is 175 milligrams of choline per 3 ounces cooked. The chicken heart, 120 milligrams per 3 ounces. Beef heart, 180 milligrams. Choline, we're talking now, per serving of heart. Okay. Okay. Kidney, antioxidant and thyroid support. I will tell you, when I was a teenager, one of my friends who was like 2 years older than me suggested that we host like a dinner party for some friends. And I don't know why, but she came up with steak and kidney pie. And I will admit that the whole house, as we were cooking it, smelled like urine. So I'm gonna have to look for some good recipes and find ways to kind of mitigate that sort of thing when working with these things, working with some of these foods. High in selenium protects the thyroid and boosts antioxidant defenses. Again, selenium is in the glutathione pathway. We need selenium in order to raise glutathione levels as well. You know, I did talk about selenium quite a bit in my supplements we need to make sure that we're getting. Nutrients that we make sure we're getting in supplement form. We could make sure with selenium that we're getting it in food form. I would have to admit like 3 Brazil nuts a day, but people are usually generally not good at doing that kind of thing. Okay. Provides iron, prevents anemia, and supports oxygen transport. Historically used for adrenal and kidney vitality. So, you know, the adrenal glands sit right on top of the kidneys, right? So perhaps a good thing to take or to use if you have weak adrenals or weak kidneys. The spleen, it's one you don't tend to think of very much, but it is. You can see it right there in the frying pan. So that must be true, right? Concentrated heme iron, highly bioavailable for anemia support, contains vitamin C and B12, immune defense and energy. Traditionally prized as a remedy for fatigue and weakness, supports robust blood and vitality. I think that would be a good recuperation food. Again, if you were had been sick. In fact, the spleen being enlarged is actually a sign of side effect of, or it can be caused by mononucleosis infection if you have mono, that kind of thing. So that would probably be a nice recovery strategy there. The brain and glands, food for thought. Yeah, it's so interesting because I have a lot of, my mother was born in St. George, South Carolina, which is low country South Carolina, where the the accent they have is it's almost you almost can't like understand it. It's almost like a dialect all of its own in St. George. Small town, about 50 miles northwest of Charleston, South Carolina. But um, anyway, my grandmother down there, we were down there for Thanksgiving one year, and she said, "Oh, turkey's okay." She said, "But I'd rather have a hog's head." So she would rather have had pig's brains for Thanksgiving dinner than a turkey. So I don't know. I had never had them, and I don't think I ever have. So, but she swore by them. She swore by its tastiness. That's what she would really prefer to eat. So I think I gotta branch out and maybe try those. Rich in DHA, which is that phospholipid that is so important to plasmalogens, right? DHA, in fact, the Prodrome Nero precursor supplement that's used for the Nero part of it is a very high bioavailable DHA rich supplement. DHA we get from fish oil, and it's not nearly as bioavailable as it is from like the Prodrome Nero precursor supplement, but also this is a great rich source. And the phosphatidylserine, which is wonderful for memory, critical for brain and nerve function, high in cholesterol, structural support for neurons and hormones, provides B12, nerve repair and cognitive help, historically eaten to impart wisdom in traditional cultures. Brain power. So interesting too, because that looks like thyme, and this is bay leaf. And those are both, they're not just flavorful, but they're both good for the brain, as are sage and rosemary. Rosemary is very excellent for the brain, as is sage, I should say. The tongue, it's kind of weird. Now, you'd really want to slice that up really quickly, right? Cut the membrane off and slice it up so it doesn't look like a tongue. The visuals sometimes aren't that inviting. Rich in zinc, supports tissue healing, immunity, and skin integrity, provides B12 and niacin, B3, boosts energy and appetite regulation. Niacin, B3, is a precursor of NAD+, which is one of the two endogenous, again, mitochondrial energy enzymes that recycles and reuses mitochondrial energy. Tender, fatty, and flavorful. Okay, so don't let that picture dissuade you. An approachable entry point for organ meats. So yeah, if you want to go with one that's milder, you're probably gonna like. Traditionally served as a delicacy in many cultures. And again, there you've got your rosemary and Himalayan pink salt and garlic. So Weston A. Price observed, okay, he observed, I told you what he observed before, but he also observed that traditional cultures rarely ate just muscle meat alone. Instead, they consumed the whole animal, organs, bones, skin, cartilage, and even blood, because each part supplied different nutrients that balanced and complemented one another. Muscle meat is rich in methionine, an amino acid that in excess can stress the body's methylation pathways. But this was naturally offset by the glycine abundant in collagen-rich parts like skin, cartilage, and bone broth. Now, what I do to make sure I get those on a daily basis and get the balance is I take MSM powder, which is methionine, in the morning, a rich source of methionine, and I take glycine powder also on a daily basis, which I take at night because it's very restful. You can mix them together. You can take them both at night if you want. But that is what you find in the skin and the cartilage and the bone broth is glycine. And they work together, to raise glutathione, to create homocysteine from the methionine, which now needs to be broken down. The homocysteine is broken down by glycine. So if you were eating the whole animal, you're really taking care of this whole thing that's so important, this DNA methylation. That's so critical to health. It's the reason I make sure everybody's getting folate that I work with is getting folate in an active form, is getting B12 in an active form, is getting B6 in an active form, riboflavin in an active form. The B vitamins, making sure they're bringing up the rear with taking glutathione to make sure they're actually getting glutathione. But if you ate the whole animal and you ate from the whole animal on a daily, regular basis, you were really doing all of that without pills. Brilliant, brilliant. So anyway, okay. All right, where was I? Oh yeah, glycine rich. Okay, organs added their own unique contributions. Liver and kidney provided fat-soluble vitamins, B12, folate, and minerals. Heart supplied CoQ10, and marrow delivered essential fats. Together, this nose-to-tail approach created a synergy where no single nutrient dominated, but all worked in harmony to support growth, fertility, and resilience. Price showed, Weston A. Price, that when cultures abandoned this balanced way of eating in favor of refined foods or only muscle meat, have your lean chicken, right? Okay, you can have meat, but just have lean, lean, lean. Have lean ground beef, have lean chicken and turkey. No. So short-sighted, so short-sighted. And I do have someone who wants to talk. Hi, Joe. And ask to unmute. And I'm going to promote you to a panelist so we can actually see you if you want to be seen. Joe? Okay, so I just clicked ask to unmute, but it doesn't look like you have. All right. Okay. I don't see him there, and it looks like he actually got bumped. Oh no, he's there. Okay. Ask to unmute. Ask to start video. All right, those messages are out to you, Joe. And as you do that, there you are.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, that's funny. I just lost you on my video.
Well, it's because
Uh,
I had to promote you to a panelist, so it bumped you out of the attendees. Yeah. But we're all good now. We can see you. We can hear you.
yeah, I can't see you or me.
Oh,
Yeah, well, I don't know what I did, but anyway, uh, you were talking about the chicken livers and hearts, which I eat on a regular basis.
you do?
However, what about the gizzards? Are the gizzards, nutritious? Because I eat them all the time.
Hang on. Let me see. Good question. Let's see what I can find out. Yes, they're actually little nutrition powerhouses, though they don't get nearly the attention that liver and heart do. Here's a breakdown for chicken gizzards cooked per 3 ounces based on USDA data. Calories, 137. Protein, 27 grams of protein in 3 ounces of chicken gizzards. Fat, 2 to 3 grams, very low. Iron, 2.5 milligrams. Zinc, 4 milligrams. Selenium, 30 micrograms. Vitamin B12, 1.6 micrograms. Niacin, riboflavin, choline, 200 milligrams.
Sounds pretty good.
That
I
sounds really good.
I think the reason a lot of people don't eat them is because they're awfully tough.
Uh-huh.
But what I do is I do them in an Instapot for about an hour first. Then you do all your frying and everything, and you can cut them with a fork after that.
Wow.
It makes them so tender. It's unbelievable.
So you do the Instant Pot as a slow cooker or as the pressure cooker?
A pressure cooker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I do it for like an hour. Take them out.
Mhm.
You can cut them with a fork, and then if you want to flavor them, then you can fry them to get some flavor and stuff. But that makes them so tender.
Well,
Other than
oh,
that, they're awfully tough, and I think that's one of the big reasons people don't like them.
yeah, well, that's a great tip. It says here highlights excellent protein to calorie ratio, almost pure protein with very little fat, Rich in B12 and iron, both critical for red blood cell formation and energy, zinc and selenium. Choline content is impressive, similar to heart, making gizzards good for brain and liver support. Yeah, so when you're pulling out those things out of your chicken, don't throw them away.
Definitely, I buy them separate all the time. I eat them on a regular basis
Good
because,
for
well,
you.
I happen to like them,
Oh,
so
there you go.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize how good they were for you, but I just like the flavor.
Nice. That's great. Wonderful. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Okay,
Okay. All right.
thanks a lot. Now watch the rest of the program. Thank you.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Very good. And let me just see here. Okay. We're back. That is great. I'm so glad we found out about the gizzards because I never even wondered about that. I wasn't even thinking about the chicken gizzards. Okay, so Weston A price on organ meats. Now, when I put this up on my website, which it will be later today or tomorrow, whenever I get to it, but the PDF, you will be able to um, see this page, meat and organ meats, and um, there's a lot of information there. So let's look at some of the things. Gourmet organ meat recipes. You can look at that. Cooking with mystery meat, beef shanks, the whole bird. View all articles. Uh, there's a lot there that has to do with cooking. Soup and broth, vegetables, grains. Okay. Um, eating organ meats. There's an interview there. So anyway, there's more information. There's also that paper that I had found on how the whole animal provides all of the nutrients for what I was just talking about, for the whole DNA methylation, all of that. Um, and again, if you were doing that, right? So a lot of people have the folate metabolism error gene mutation, and they can't use synthetic folic acid or an inactive form. If you were getting your folate and your B12 from these organ meats, rich organ meats, you would be getting them in a form that if you have that mutation, it wouldn't matter, right? Overcomes that mutation. So yeah, very, very interesting. Okay. So anyway, you'll be able to go there. You could just do that yourself. Just go to Weston A. Price's website and just search to your heart's content on any of that stuff. And you don't need my link. So anyway, this is how you kind of get that whole idea of how they work together, the synergy of optimal health. So you have the muscle, you've got your methionine, right? Your balanced amino acids here with all of this. The glycine has the collagen and the glycine in your bones and cartilage. The organs have vitamins and minerals, and they all work together. So that's just like fascinating, and it makes all the sense in the world if you think about it. It just really does. So in global, every culture just has used organ meat. So France is famous for its foie gras, the duck and goose liver pâté, sausage, tripe sausage. Mexico, beef tongue tacos, tripe soup. Scotland, haggis, which is sheep heart, liver, lungs with oats and spices. Wow. I don't know if I pronounced that right, haggis or whatever. China, braised pork liver, stir-fried kidneys, duck blood soups. Italy, trippa alla romana, Roman-style tripe. Fagotto alla veneziana, Venetian liver with onions. Middle East, lamb liver skewers, heart stews, and spleen dishes. And I'll bet you those are good Middle Eastern, Mediterranean, Middle Eastern cooking. Wonderful. That wouldn't be Mediterranean, but sort of. They definitely overlap. But Middle Eastern cooking is so good. They use a lot of lamb and stuff, and they use a lot of herbs and spices and in miraculously flavorful ways. So I think, if you're out, if you're like, hey, I want to really do some exploration of recipes and things, I would kind of concentrate my looking and probably go right there for myself. South America, grilled beef heart, anticuchos in Peru, tongue and organ soups. United States, historically, fried chicken livers, liver and onions, scrapple, pork scraps, including organs with cornmeal. That would be a Southern dish for sure. So sources of animal meats, we've got cows and sheep, pigs and chickens, also definitely like turkeys and goats and you name it. There's others as well. Chicken, lamb, pork, goose, yeah. So liver. The best sources of liver you're going to probably look for are like beef, calf liver, baby beef liver is milder. Beef liver is stronger. So if you want less of that real strong liver taste, go for the baby beef liver. Chicken, lamb, pork, and chicken liver and goose liver, often used in like foie gras, goose based goose sourced pâtés, liver pâtés. And then the heart. Your best sources for heart is beef, chicken, lamb, pork, and turkey. Kidneys, beef, lamb, pork, and veal. Boy, is that so interesting, isn't it? You're like, wow. And then the spleen, beef, lamb, or goat. Brain. This guy, like in this picture, there's a grill under here. You can't see it in that photo, but he's about to put all these brains right on the grill. Calf, veal, lamb, pig. Tongue, beef, especially popular in Mexican cuisine as lengua, pork, and lamb. Other traditional organs include tripe from beef, sheep, or goat, sweetbreads, which are the glands, right? The thymus and the pancreas, from veal and lamb, and bone marrow from beef or veal. And let me just say here, sweetbreads. Any highlights for those, nutritionally speaking? Yeah, sweetbreads are actually the thymus or pancreas of young animals, usually veal or lamb, are considered delicacies, but they also pack a distinct nutritional profile. Here's the snapshot for veal sweetbreads cooked. A lot of people don't like to use veal because of how they're raised and stuff. So yeah, I probably thought that would not be my go-to either, but they are very rich in yeah, 3 ounces cooked, 220 milligrams of choline. Then it's got, your basic breakdown of your B vitamins, zinc, iron, cholesterol, protein, very rich in protein, 15 grams. So protein and fat balance makes them satiating, but more calorically dense than gizzards or heart. So anyway, bone marrow, so good. Thinking about what do we do? Also buco, right? Okay, offal doesn't have to be awful. So let's see what we can find. So offal meats refer to the internal organs of an animal that cultures typically consume as food. This includes like everything we've been talking about, organs such as liver, kidneys, heart, tongue, tripe. And various, yeah, tripe is the stomach lining, in case you didn't know that, and various other parts that are not considered muscle meat. For many people, the very word offal brings a wrinkled nose and a quick no thank you, but in truth, these cuts are anything but awful. They're nutrient dense, flavorful, often surprisingly simple to prepare. From silky liver pâté to hearty heart stews and hidden organ meatballs. That's a good thing. Meatballs, you can put anything in, right? You can hide just about anything in a meatball. Offal dishes can be both delicious and deeply nourishing. With a little creativity in the kitchen, you may just discover that organ meats are the awfully good secret to vibrant health. So tips for cooking organ meat recipes. Start with fresh organ meats. Purchase organ meats from reputable local farms practicing sustainable animal husbandry for the freshest and highest quality offal. You'll learn that quality beef offal is easier to come by than chicken offal, and I recommend the person who wrote this, and I'll go to that page in a second. And I recommend sourcing pork organs from local farms only. We're so lucky here in Keene, New Hampshire, because we have the food co-op. We also have Walpole Valley Farms out in Walpole, other farms around. So we are very blessed in that way. Some places in the country, you don't have the access to those things as readily as we do. We can find just about anything we want in very high quality, humanely treated animals, you name it. Trim connective tissue. Some raw offal, like beef hearts, chicken hearts, and liver, have connective tissue or membrane that makes them too chewy. It's a good idea to trim that for smoother texture and flavor. Clean well. While you can get away with skipping rinsing the meat, this person recommends thoroughly cleaning organ meats before cooking to remove residual blood and impurities. We usually do that with meat anyway. Know the cooking method. Organ meats vary in texture and flavor. Yeah, so knowing what you're doing going in, I think. For example, you can quickly pan fry liver, while tougher cuts like tripe and tongue require slow cooking to become tender. Or like Joe said, using the pressure cooker for his chicken gizzards. To get them much more tender, then he fries them. He says you can cut them with a fork. Pair with bold flavors, yes, and you'll see that with every picture I've shown. It's got like really pungent, not pungent, but strong spices, right? Offal meats have distinct flavors that stand up well to bold pairings like robust sauces and tangy condiments like spicy sauerkraut, which there seems to be a link to there. Spicy sauerkraut with ginger and garlic. That looks really good. Yeah. And you're getting some nice probiotics there too. And then season well. Some Worcestershire sauce, red wine, or white wine is a great way to tone down the great gaminess of beef offal. Or add a pinch of cayenne pepper to give your chicken offal some heat. Can also incorporate some creaminess into your organ meats by adding sour cream or coconut milk to cut through some of that deep flavor. So then this takes you back to that website there, where we have 15 delicious ideas with organ meats. Let's take a pick at some of them. Reasons to make more and eat more. What is offal? I hate these websites with so many pop-ups, but whatever. Tips, I just told you about those. So then they've got like all these different recipes, right? Beef liver pâté. If you see what I'm looking at, prepare and nourish, you can just like Google that, prepare and nourish offal recipes, and I'm sure it will take you right to that page, but it will be available in the PDF of this presentation as well. I'll probably put, I've got a few of my own to share, but I'll do that in the newsletter that announces that the video is ready for viewing. So anyway, easy beef liver pâté, chicken liver pâté, beef liver and onions, creamy chicken livers on toast, fried chicken livers with New Mexico chilies, beef liver and onion meatballs, Organ recipes with beef tongue. In an instant pot. There you go. How to cook beef tongue in an instant pot. Perfect texture, easy skin peeling, and quick cleanup. Crispy and tender beef tongue recipe. Beef tongue into delicious crispy beef. Instant pot with instant pot option. Other offal recipes. Traditional fish stock recipe. How to make beef tallow from bone broth fat. Okay. How to make, okay. All right. Anyway, pretty cool. And you can find, just search if you're looking for more ideas. You can find a bazillion recipes, as you know, online if you're into recipes, which if you have been following me for any time at all, you know I am. How about convenient ways to get to enjoy organ meats on the run, right? You're not always going to be cooking these elaborate recipes. High quality pâtés and spreads. Look for glass jar or tin pâtés made with chicken, duck, or goose liver. Many European brands, French, German, are widely available. Perfect on crackers, sourdough, or veggie sticks. You can also get really high quality pork liver pâtés. So don't be a pâté snob. Liverwurst and Braunschweiger. Traditional deli sausages made with liver and other organ meats. Choose clean brands with minimal fillers and no nitrates. Slice for sandwiches, wraps, or with cheese and pickles. Trusted brands. Here are some trusted brands, right? I mean, there's others. You know how to shop for things and shop carefully, but pâtés and liverwurst, this U.S. wellness meats, offers liverwurst, Braunschweiger, and head cheese from grass-fed beef. Alexian, a gourmet pâté company, duck, chicken, pork livers, often found in natural grocery stores. Les Trois Petits Cochons, or whatever. 3 Little Pigs, I can say that better. French-style pâtés, relais. Debbie asking, what are your thoughts on iron from liver, etc., for men and women? What is enough and too much? I think if you're getting your iron from food, I don't think anybody's going to be eating more probably than 3 ounces of an organ meat in a day, if that. I don't think it's a concern. Like you're going to get too much, like you're taking a multivitamin every day with, 18 milligrams of iron. So I would say not a concern for eating it as part of your regular diet, a regular balanced whole nose to tail type animal diet. Good question. Jerky and snack with organ blends. So some people make them with several companies now make beef sticks containing 10 to 20% liver or heart. Portable, high protein, kid friendly. Trusted brands, that a couple of trusted brands. Again, this isn't inclusive. What do I mean? Exclusive. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's others out there too, but here are just a couple of suggestions. The Epic Provisions, beef and liver bar sticks, portable and clean ingredients. Wild Zora makes paleo-friendly bars with grass-fed organ blends. And then there are supplements, right? For when you're not every day going to be eating that and you want to make sure you get it. So this is Ancestral is a very good, reliable brand, grass-fed beef liver. Then you can do powders that you can add into smoothies or into soups or things like that. Just easy to get your added beef, your added liver ingredients. Again, trusted brands, Heart and Soil, Ancestral Supplements. There's many good ones out there. So again, I'm not trying to, and I'm not connected with any of these companies. I just wanted to give you some guidance and myself as well. Frozen or canned options. Some butchers sell frozen portioned organ meats ready for quick use. So ask your butcher, but also, like the butcher at the co-op, I'm sure, be a great person to ask. A canned cod liver, and again, you can get chicken livers, from larger companies. Like I think when Dale was doing it when he was a teenager, it was Swanson at that point in time, although I could not find a label of Swanson's right now. And that doesn't mean they're not making them, but you can purchase them. Canned cod liver, not technically an offal like an organ meat, but it is liver from cod. It's just, a fish. not a land animal, but it is a classic source of omega-3s and vitamin A and D. So in summary, organ meats, an overlooked key to vitality. They're among the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet, providing concentrated amounts of vitamins, minerals, and unique compounds that are difficult to obtain elsewhere. Traditional cultures understood this well, valuing organs, bones, and connective tissue as essential parts of a balanced nose-to-tail diet. And the work of Weston A. Price showed that vitality, fertility, and robust health were directly tied to these foods. In contrast, modern diets that focus only on muscle meat or processed foods often leave critical nutrient gaps. By reclaiming organ meats, whether through liver pâté, heart stews, kidney dishes, or convenient options like pâtés, liverwurst, or desiccated supplements, we restore balance and synergy to our nutrition. Organ meats don't just belong to the past. They remain a timeless key to energy, resilience, and whole body health. So yeah, thank you. And I think it's really cool that, again, demonstrated that if we were eating the diet that we were provided that God provided in the foods he created for us to enjoy and nourish ourselves, we can really see I don't know, we can just see the wonder of how foods are put together and in a synergy, and how sometimes in our modern day we try to say, well, make sure you go for lean, make sure you go for this, based on flawed science, right? All of the cholesterol nonsense. Don't have the eggs because they're too rich in cholesterol. Don't have the liver because that's way too rich in cholesterol. Very wrong, and very misleading. And people have been giving up foods they love, thinking that they have to do that for their health, when it's many times just the opposite. So thank you, Cindy. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This has been fun for me, a very fun topic. And again, I'll get out my second email announcement when the video's up, giving you some more recipes, some more leads, some more direction for how to acquire and use organ meats. So without further ado, I will say goodbye. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll be back next week. I have no idea what I'm going to be talking about, but something interesting. It might, again, be based on one of my clients or somebody who pops in and says something that makes me go, oh, that would be a fun thing to talk about. And I do have my senses series to get into, so maybe I'll just dig right into that. Depends on my mood. Okay. Take care. And thank you again.